Elaine, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and what kind of stories you write and kind of your inspiration for writing?
Sure. I am 49 years old. I am a wife, a mom. I live in the Midwest, Ohio. And I love to write stories that make people feel. And if I can make you cry, all the better. I know that sounds crazy.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. So my books are, I've only published three. I'm working on my fourth. I shouldn't say only. That's a bad thing to say because publishing one book's a feat in
It's
its of itself.
huge
So I
deal,
shouldn't
isn't
say
it?
that.
Yeah.
I
Not
shouldn't
over.
diminish the process. But,
That's
but
totally
yeah,
fine.
I have three out, and they all vary with
Okay.
genres, I guess. Do you want me to tell you about them, or?
Yeah, yeah, please do.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so my first one that I was published February of last year, it's called Becoming Mallory, and that's based loosely on my daughter.
Oh,
She has autism as well as
okay.
deals with some pretty well, high functioning autism, but also deals with some mental illness.
Oh, wow.
And that's what got the process going for me with writing, was writing that book. Yeah, because
Cool.
I felt like it's loosely based on our family story of her being diagnosed. I say loosely.
Okay.
There's like some things in the book that actually happened to our family, but for the most part, it's fictional. But so
Wow.
yeah,
Cool.
and it spans 25 years. So 25 years of Mallory's life from when she was born up until she's 25. And it's from four points of view. I mean, I just went all in with my first one.
I love that.
I
Yeah.
I didn't hold back. But yeah, then my second book, All In, is actually based on my coworker's love story.
Oh,
Uh,
cool. Okay.
yeah, one day we were sitting over lunch and I was kind of trying to decide what my next book idea was going to be. And she was recently divorced.
Okay.
And I was kind of telling her, oh, you need to be single. Like, you need to just be single for
Yeah.
a while, giving friendly advice. And then she's like, well, actually, I kind of reconnected with my high school boyfriend. And she told me the whole story. And when
Okay.
she did, I was like, well, I have my second book idea now. So,
That's cool.
yeah. And then my third book, His Last Shot. If you've read Becoming Mallory, there's a side character named Johnny. And this is Johnny's book. This is a
Johnny
love
story.
story. Yeah.
Okay.
So this one
That's
is more, definitely leans more towards the complete romance genre, whereas the other two are more like women's fiction.
awesome. And so you kind of just get like your inspiration and stuff from like real life and everything. I know being a
Yeah.
writer myself, sometimes I hate being asked that question, like, where do you get your inspiration? Because it comes from everywhere, right?
It does. And even like a good example of that is when I was writing His Last Shot, Johnny owns a construction business and I couldn't have that be his only thing. You know what
Uh-huh.
I mean? Like he had to have a thing. And my dad is a really, really good pool player.
Oh, cool.
I mean, he was asked to go pro, but turned it down to raise a family.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's very good. And I was like, I should have him be a pool player. Like, let's make it a sports romance that isn't hockey or baseball or
Yeah.
football.
Oh,
Let,
yeah. Wow,
yeah,
that's great.
let's
There's
do a
so
sports
many like
romance.
that, right?
Right. Let's do a sports romance that's completely different. So I decided to delve into the
Okay.
world of pool leagues, which my brother's involved in. So,
Oh, so you
yeah,
have some, like experience, like well, people that are experienced with that and stuff, so you can
right.
learn that information and stuff. That's great.
Exactly. But yeah, like you said, you pull from real life, you know?
Yeah, other two books have no sports in them at all.
No,
Okay.
none.
So was it like really unique and different writing a sports romance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it
What were
was.
some things that you saw that were like, oh my, this is different. This is a different world I'm in now.
Right, because they wanted it to be in the world of competitive pool leagues, which I am not a part of,
Right.
but my brother is. So I really had to pull from his experience and had to tweak some things because the way that they score things in professional pool leagues is confusing as heck.
Mm.
And I was like, I can't put this in the book. I don't understand it as the writer. How can I actually expect the
Yeah.
reader to understand it? So I had to tweak some things. But yeah, it was different. It definitely was different. I mean, I know about the game of pool. I can play pool, but that side of things, like the competitive nature of it, yeah, I probably drove my brother crazy.
Oh gosh, that is so funny. But I feel
Yeah.
like for me, like I didn't even know there was like a professional pool league. But that is so cool, like that there is, and that
It's a whole different world, let me tell you.
that's crazy. And that you pulled that into your story. I love that. So
And
can you tell us a little bit more about his last shot and Johnny and kind of his story a little bit without giving away anything, of course.
oh no, of course I'd love who doesn't love to talk about their books? Um So, like I said, Johnny is actually a side character. That's my first book right
Okay.
there,
Click on it. There
Becoming
you go.
Mallory.
See it. Yeah.
Um, so he was a side character in that book, kind of. So the dad in Becoming Mallory's name is Scott, and he owns a construction business with his cousin Johnny. And Johnny is very much a serial dater and, hasn't settled down. He's older, he's in his 40s,
Okay.
and just hasn't quite found the right woman yet. And I got so many comments after people read Becoming Mallory saying, we need Johnny's story. You have to write Johnny's story. My one good friend in Florida was like, you have to write Johnny's story. She actually put it in her review, which was kind of funny. Um,
Awesome.
so I was like, okay, then yeah, maybe this needs to be written. And so his girlfriend Rachel is mentioned in Becoming Mallory. So there is
Yeah.
a couple chapters where she is mentioned as someone that he was super serious about. So I knew I had to tell their story. And then Rachel makes an appearance in All In. So I guess all three books are in the same universe.
Okay. Love
Not a
that.
series, not a series, just kind of interconnected universe type of situation.
Right.
So yeah, he is very much a serial dater, but just hasn't found the right woman. So it's not that he's like, that type of guy, but he just can't find the right woman, which is what's
That's it.
happening. And then he meets Rachel in her Uncle Dexter's bar. So
Okay.
Uncle Dexter is kind of, he's very much the protagonist in the book, or antagonist, antagonist.
Oh,
That's the word.
Antigonus. There you
I
go.
always get
Yep.
those two words mixed up.
I get that.
You.
I
I
get that
always
too.
antagonist in the book. And
Right. The bad
yeah,
guy.
the bad guy. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, so he owns the bar Dexter's where Rachel works. Now, Johnny's construction business did the remodel on Dexter's, and that's kind of how they connect.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
I also wanted to have some type of chronic illness representation in this book. I felt that was really important.
Yeah.
And one day I was doom scrolling on Instagram, and another creator who I'm friends with has rheumatoid arthritis. And she had mentioned that there's no representation, very little,
Yeah.
not none, but very little representation in romance books. So I thought, well,
Oh,
there,
wow.
Rachel's going to have rheumatoid arthritis. So
I love
um,
that. But that's
and
such
then,
a way to, shed light on other people's lives and stuff.
correct,
And,
yes.
going through those type of things, there's that pain and those struggles that they struggle with that,
Mhm.
a
Yes.
lot of us have no idea what that's like.
No
So
idea.
that's
You can
really cool
you
that
can
you have
look at
that rep.
somebody, yeah, you can look at someone, they could be look completely healthy on the outside. I know this, my husband has a chronic illness, so people
Really.
see
Okay.
him all the time, and when they find out what's going on with him, they always say, "Oh, he looks so healthy."
Right.
Does look healthy, and
Yeah,
he kind of is healthy. He just has this that he's dealing with. So I wanted that really to be a crux of the story, that her
sure.
rheumatoid arthritis is something that holds her back. It delivers a lot of insecurity to herself, and it really holds her back. And it holds her back in her relationship with Johnny. She kind of keeps him at arm's length.
Yeah.
And so it's also an age gap. So there's a 15-year age gap. He's 45 and she's 30.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
but
Well,
yeah, it
that's
kind of goes
really
through their whole
cool.
relationship.
I love that. And I love that you have that rep in that book, and then you also have that in Becoming Mallory as well, a rep. So in your third book, I mean your is it your second book? Your second
Yeah.
book. Is there a rep in that one as well? First one. Or is
No,
that kind
there's no rep in that.
of
There is some pretty heavy themes, though, I will
okay.
say. It's a book written in letters, email, and text format.
Oh, I love that.
Not
Yes.
the whole book, not the whole book, but
Oh,
probably a good 30 to 40% of it, because they
yeah.
keep in touch. When they break up as teenagers, they keep in touch through the years, and that's how they keep in touch, because the book spans 27 years.
Oh, wow.
So they keep in
Yeah.
touch during that time. And so there's some heavy themes. There's like some abuse, physical and mental, gaslighting, divorce, death of a spouse. So there's some pretty heavy subject matter in it.
Oh, yes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. So as a writer who writes that kind of stuff, when you write like that darker, deeper stuff and
Mhm.
the troubles and trials that people go through
Right.
in their lives like that are tougher. How do you deal with that? And do you do certain research or do you have experience having gone through things like that? Or yeah, how do you kind of research that?
Oh, that's a good question. So I'm a big researcher. Like I had said with the rheumatoid arthritis, I had my friend Sammy, who was huge. I mean, she was my go-to girl for every question. And simple questions too, like, are you allowed to have a snack when you get infusions at the hospital? Like,
Oh,
you know
wow.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
little details like that are so important. So with her, she was my go-to girl. Um, for my first book, Becoming Mallory, it was based mostly on my own experience, but I also made sure I talked to some developmental doctors at the hospital I work at. I work at a pediatric hospital.
Oh,
So I made sure to talk to them as well, to make sure some of the wording was correct and everything. I thought that was important. Because you word things a certain way in the privacy of your own home, but that may be not what is acceptable out there in the world.
for
That could
sure.
offend somebody else.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure I had all of that down pat, especially. All in, I didn't do a ton of research per se. I just kind of went on really what I would have felt like if these things happened to me. Does that make
Right.
sense? Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of where I went with that one.
Very cool
But
though.
yeah,
That's very
research is
cool.
huge, especially with the hidden illness
Yeah.
situation.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Oh man, no, I really love that. I love that you got the rheumatoid arthritis and then the hidden illness like in the yeah, in
Mhm.
multiple books of yours. And I really love that. And I wish that more romance books would do that, like
And
have
some
more
do.
some
Yeah.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Some
I
do.
think we definitely need more, like more of
I
that.
agree.
Just for one, it creates a really interesting character.
Mhm. Well, I just read a book recently, and now the name is slipping, but the main male character had split personality.
Oh, wow.
And I
Oh,
mean, I
that's
have never
cool.
read a book with that. That was, and
No.
it was so interesting and handled with such beauty and care. It was wonderful. And
Okay. If you think
I,
of the name, can you send that to me?
yes, I will.
Yeah,
I will send it to you. Yeah, it
that's
was a beautifully
wonderful.
written book, and it was so different. And I'm sure
Wow.
there's
Yeah.
people out there that suffer from that are trying to have a relationship. And
Oh, I can imagine it would be difficult. Yeah.
yeah. And that's
Oh,
kind of
good.
like, that was really interesting. And then it
Wow,
kind of
very
leaned into
cool.
like, it resulted from a traumatic brain injury that he had. So he had TMI. So it was just super, super TBI. So it was super interesting. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. And I'm excited too to spotlight you as, Ohio, one of the authors of Ohio during that week. And
Okay.
it's going to be kind of like a
Oh,
romance
guys.
reading road trip. And so I was like, it's perfect because we have some romance and some fantasy slash romance, romanticism,
Nice.
whatever. So
Yeah.
both of those are kind of the main genres that are going to be sharing this whole road trip experience. So I'm really excited about that. So, since we're in Ohio with you right now, what are some things that you love about your state?
Oh boy. I, I think Ohioans have a love-hate relationship with their state. I will say that. Yeah, but I personally, one thing I love about it, I do love the seasons.
Okay.
Winter can be very daunting, of
Oh, I'm
course.
sure.
I mean, once you get towards the rear end of winter, like, it's still the beginning of April and it's still snowing, that can be a little, bring your spirits down.
Oh, I
But
get it.
right now, we're just crossing over into summer and it's just
Oh,
fantastic. I
oh, yeah.
really love the seasons. I love the people. There are very, very hardworking people that live here in Ohio. This word is overused, the Rust Belt. You hear that all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I think a lot of people get tired of it, like being called that, like we live in the Rust Belt. But I also feel like that kind of is an excellent description of how hardworking these people are. So the people in this area are very, very hardworking, honest, good people. But yeah, the seasons do it for me. I really enjoy the season changes. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's awesome. Are your guys' winters like really, really long? Because like I live in North Dakota
Okay.
and our winters are long. So I
Yeah.
completely get what you mean about snowing in
Yes.
April and like,
It's different every year. We never know what we're going to get. So, like, there have been winters where it has started snowing in October and it hasn't stopped till April.
yeah,
There are some winters where it just rains all winter long, and then spring hits in April or May and it gets hot and it stays hot till September. You never know. You honestly
right.
never know. This past winter, it was pretty average. I would say it was a pretty average winter, but we've had good ones, we've had bad ones. So,
Yeah,
get, but
okay.
that there's nothing though, there's nothing like that first snow, that first big snow
That's for
that
true.
is just so pretty and so
Yeah.
peaceful. And I love that. I absolutely love that. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, if there was like say like a major thing that people should come and visit in Ohio that maybe
Mhm.
people don't really even think about, that really cool vacation spot or thing that they should see when they go through Ohio, say on a road trip, what would that be?
Well, it depends on where you're at.
Sure, I bet.
Um,
You
I
can
would
say a few things too if you have a couple.
So if you're coming in the summer, I definitely would say you would have to hit up Cedar Point.
Okay.
You have to go to it's called the biggest roller coasters. Some of the biggest roller coasters in the world are there. So if you are
Wow.
an amusement park person,
Yeah.
definitely hit up Cedar Point because it's right on Lake Erie. And then also over that way are some islands off of the lake that are amazing. So there's like Put in Bay, there's Kelly's Island, and a lot of the views up there, things you see are just not things you expect to see in Ohio because people, I think, consider Ohio to be nothing but cornfields, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So, and
Funny.
then like if you're going through the middle of the state, Columbus is fantastic. I mean,
Oh,
yeah, such a great big city with amazing energy, and everyone is just so kind and
cool.
yeah, a lot of great things. I'm from the Youngstown area, which is kind of like on which I probably shouldn't give away my location, but kind of on
The area, right?
yes, I'm in the area, the eastern side of the state, and we border PA.
Oh,
So, Youngstown's a great area too. I mean, it used to be called Mob Town, which it kind of was in the 70s and 80s. It's not like
yeah.
that anymore. But I mean, we have a great park here called Mill Creek Park that is the second largest inner city park in the country.
Wow.
And it's gorgeous. It's
Okay.
huge and it's so pretty, especially all the different seasons. It's just awesome. So there is a lot to see in the state here if you kind of get out of that mindset that Ohio is only cornfields, because it
Right.
isn't. It isn't.
Sure. Exactly. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people have, those thoughts of like, oh, Ohio's just cornfields, or
Right. And some of
Iowa's
it
just
is.
cornfields, or North Dakota's just prairie, or,
Oh,
like
Fargo, North Dakota. That's the only people know about North Dakota is Fargo. That's it.
Fargo. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I live pretty close to Fargo, so I'm always getting that, oh, don't you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You all talk like that?
I know.
And
And
it's like,
Cleveland, I mean, Cleveland and Cincinnati, opposite ends of the state, but like, yeah, both of those are fantastic cities to visit. So there's a
cool.
lot to do here, really, honestly.
I also like to kind of ask the author, like, how does your home state and where you live and grew up kind of like affect your writing?
Oh, most definitely. I'm glad you asked that because
Yeah,
there are so all the kind of where my three books are located is loosely based on where I live.
love that.
Um, there's not a town, there's not a bar called Dexter's, but there are plenty of bars in this area that are just like Dexter's.
Oh, yeah.
There are some locations that I do name, but I won't say what ones those are. But yeah, there's some. So all three of those books are loosely based on where I live. So if you are to read those books, you'll kind of get a feel for the Youngstown area because that's kind of how it
Awesome.
is. This whole area is like one of the bigger cities in Ohio, but it has a small town feel.
Okay.
It's very much how this area is. And I hope I portrayed that in the book well. But yeah, so
That's
there's
awesome.
the main university here is called Youngstown State University, and the university that's mentioned in his last shot and in Becoming Mallory is loosely based on that university. So yeah, I definitely took a lot from that. My
Okay.
next book, though, I'm going to kind of get away from my hometown.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool. It's cool when you can kind of do both and everything. Because
Right.
in my I have a series that I have, and it's like set in North Dakota and very culture specific. Like
Yeah.
we say the words, like how we talk, we kind of have a funny little lingo, like
Yes.
"oh" or
No,
or I'm sure. What are some things that you guys say
I
that
knew
are
you would ask that and put me on the spot.
specific to
Uh,
your area? Yeah.
I mean, we call soda pop just pop. That's
Yep. Same with us.
when you're in the grocery store, you don't get a grocery cart, you get a buggy.
Oh, buggy, that's
Buggy.
funny.
I know. I
I
was one
love
time
it.
I was standing in line to get prescriptions one time and there was a sign that said no buggies beyond this point. And there was a man in front of me and he turns around, he goes, "Are you from this area?" And I said, "Yeah, I am from here." And he goes, "What is a buggy?" And so I had to explain it
Funny.
to him and he's like, "I have never heard that before in my life."
Oh,
Like,
my word. That is hilarious.
isn't that funny? But like where Youngstown is located, we're very much right in between Pittsburgh and Cleveland.
Okay.
So we get a lot of kind of lingo from those two areas. So we
Yeah.
have people around here that say yins, which is from Pittsburgh, or
Oh, okay.
yinzers. That's a big Pittsburgh thing. And we
Oh.
get a lot of people that have kind of like the Cleveland accent up there, like to say car instead, you know?
Oh, that's so funny. I just
So yeah, we
love
get a little of
accents
both.
and stuff and how like words that we say are so specific to the areas that we live in. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that, like in
Mhm.
America slash also in other areas of the world, we're like
Yeah,
we're so specific to the little areas that you're in, how we all speak so different,
I
even though we
know.
understand each other.
Yeah. Or I mean, have you heard the term devil strip?
I haven't. No.
Okay. So it's, I don't know why we call it this, and I have got to figure it out. So it's that patch of grass. So
Uh-huh.
if you have a sidewalk and then you have somebody's yard and then you have the sidewalk and then you have that patch of grass that's right by the road, we
Sure.
call that patch of grass a devil strip.
Oh, weird.
I don't know why. And like, I mean, all the time we're like, did you mow the devil strip?
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
Here?
that's so
Yeah.
funny. You learn
Oh,
things. It's
yep,
best. It's the best. I love
it
it.
is.
You pull in like the culture too of your area as well. I mean, I mean, like, of course, you've got your, you
Oh,
know,
sure, sure.
cities and your things, and of course how people speak, like pop,
Hmm.
Devil's Strip. Uh,
Right.
do you feel like that's something you've pulled into your own books too?
I believe so. Yeah, especially since kind of like Becoming Mallory is based on my family.
Right.
Really, I mean, even all in based on my coworker and her, her boyfriend and knowing them. Yeah, most definitely. You kind of pull, especially in his last shot, I pulled a lot of my dad
Okay.
into that character. So, and my brother too, since they're both pool players. So yeah, you do. I think you naturally do that.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
really
you
cool.
just pull the kind of those
Yeah.
quirks in the culture. And, like I said, everybody around here is very hardworking.
Yep.
And I wanted that definitely portrayed in the books of hardworking middle
Wow.
class America. That's what this area is. So,
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I think that people are just going to love your books and I
oh, I
can't
hope
wait
so.
to share them with the world and everything. So I got so excited when I got this idea for this road trip and everything.
Awesome.
It's going to be really fun. So, and I'm so excited too because I'm getting to meet so many cool authors like you guys and stuff. So it's really been a lot of fun so far.
I know. It's great. I'm so excited to do this. I'm thrilled, actually.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm so happy to get to know you and get to know you better and everything. So it's always
absolutely.
fun to make more author friends, I feel like.
I write these books and I just want people to read them.
Yeah,
If they read them and they feel something and they resonate with the characters, awesome. I don't care how they get their hands on it. Well, just don't go to piracy sites. But
yeah,
I, I
yeah,
don't care how they get their hands on it. I just want them to read it and
yeah.
feel something. Do you know? That's really what you want as a writer. And you know that writing your own
Yeah,
books, you want people to read them. And when someone says, I read your book, I loved it, it's like, oh my God, it's the
it means
best
the world to
feeling.
you. Yeah.
It's the best feeling, isn't it? It is.
So beautiful. Yeah, I just love it. And that's great. Well, I'm so happy that you just and you can tell you just have this love for your characters and your love for your
So
readers. And I just love seeing that because I feel like that comes across in people's work too, when you're
I
reading it,
agree.
you can feel that love from the
Hmm.
author. So I just love that. I'm so happy that we were able to chat today and everything.
Me too. Thank you so much for
Awesome.
having me.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for riding shotgun on the Romance Reading Road Trip. I'm so excited for you to be joining this journey with us. Be sure to go down to the video description below and sign up for the passport. You're not going to want to miss out on it.